Hey everyone, my name is Ryan Wilson and I'm the CEO and co-founder of The Gathering Spot. I'm going to tell you what The Gathering Spot is, but before I do that, I'm going to talk to you about my journey before I started the company. And so growing up, I wanted to be an attorney. To me, when I looked at folks that were having an impact on our community, I saw a lot of folks that had law degrees, and so I thought that it would be a good fit for me to also become a lawyer. While I was in middle and high school, that led to a lot of classes in social studies, but then also a lot of English courses because I heard that to be a good lawyer, you had to be able to read and write really well, and you needed to be able to understand history. After high school, I went immediately to college at Georgetown in Washington, D.C., and I majored in government and sociology. And so my thought then was that as a government major, I would be able to understand the ways that laws were made and the way that they impacted people. And then as a sociology major, I would understand the ways that people ultimately came together and really like the intricacies of how folks get to know one another well. And while I was in college, I interned a lot. I took every opportunity to try to make sure that I got exposure to different types of the ways that lawyers practice. And so that led me first to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington D.C. I later worked at a law firm between my summers. And along the way, any person that I could learn from that had a connection to the law, I really made sure that I took the time out to learn everything that I possibly could from them. One key moment of exposure that led me on my path was it was between my junior and my senior year in college, and I had the opportunity to work at a law firm where part of my job was to interact with different entrepreneurs, right? And so all throughout the summer, I was working with entrepreneurs that were trying to solve different problems in their businesses, and I had the chance to be the lawyer that was helping them to accomplish whatever it is the goal that they had set out to do. And I, growing up, had experienced entrepreneurship because my parents were both entrepreneurs, but I never thought that it was the right path for me. But when I saw folks during this summer internship, and I saw the ways that the business owners were tackling the problems in their business, I thought it could be something that I could do too. But again, I thought that I needed to be a lawyer, and so I wasn't very, very flexible at that time at all. As I went through to graduate from undergrad and went immediately to Georgetown's law school, the goal there was right in front of me. At this point, I made it to the place that I always thought that I wanted to be, which was to be a law student and eventually graduate and be a lawyer. And so I took another internship between my first year and my second year of law school, and it was really interesting because although I had previously worked at law firms while I was in college, this was a much different type of internship while I was in law school. And what was also going on that summer was a very, very important case. It was the Trayvon Martin case. And so I was watching this case at the same time that I was trying to be a good intern, but I couldn't take my eyes off of what was happening in Trayvon Martin's case. Eventually, George Zimmerman was acquitted in that case. And I got an email from some friends that said, hey, what are we going to do? And I responded back to them with the idea of starting the Gathering Spot. So what TGS is a physical place that has event space, a restaurant and bar, and workspace. But really what I do every day is I connect people. I'm in the community business. And so I have a really, really fun job of thinking of different ways of connecting people that ordinarily wouldn't meet one another. There were a lot of roadblocks. The first roadblock was that we needed to figure out how to raise money. And it was 97 people in a row that said no before the first person said yes. And our fundraise was $3 million. And so I was 23 when we started this journey, and it just felt impossible to be able to raise that amount of money. But it also felt even more impossible when folks kept telling us no over and over and over again. And that failure was tough, right? Because when you have a plan and you've decided to go on a different route, I decided that I was going to finish my law degree, so I went back for my second year and I went back for my third year, and I graduated. But by the time I graduated, I knew that the Gathering Spot was going to be the thing that I was going to do. I failed a lot during that period of my life. We had no experience in any aspect of the business, and so I was learning every single day how to make the business a reality. And it was really really tough. But I mean, one time that was really hard is that we were coming up on a deadline to begin to find a building, and I had been telling everybody that I was going to do this gathering spot business for a while, but we, for a lot of reasons, just were not able to get a real estate deal done. We couldn't find a place to go. And it was extremely frustrating. And it was hard to go back to folks and tell them over and over again that we weren't actually successful in finding a space. But I knew that we just had to continue to move forward and we would eventually get there. My purpose in doing this work has been the same the entire time. I've always believed that really powerful things happen when people come together, and we have to have a better context to be able to do that on a regular basis. And so that is what we have always sought to make happen at the center of TGS. We do a lot of events. We connect people through dining, through food, and we connect people through work. But common in all of it is this belief that if we can just create a better way for people to be able to meet one another, that really powerful things can happen. I'm also a person that's driven by issues in our community that I think are important. And so through the Gathering Spot, we talk about things that are happening in our community, things like voting, that are things that we feel that our community needs to spend a lot of time not only discussing for ourselves, but really also discussing for other communities to understand how our voices need to be heard. And so I love that my work each day gets to center around the things that I'm really really passionate about. The piece of advice that I would give for anybody that's seeking to be an entrepreneur is that you are the best person to solve the idea that you want to solve. You have to believe that in your core. It's very, very difficult at times, but know that the reason why you have that idea is special, right? That there's a reason why you're the person that's supposed to make the idea that you have exist out in the world. And so sometimes it'll be like me, where you will experience 97 no's before the first person will say yes, but know along the way that every single time that you receive no, that it actually isn't confirmation of anything other than you have to continue to keep pressing forward. And it's been it's been difficult at times, but I wouldn't have it any other way. And I think that another thing that I've learned along this journey is that while you may have a plan for yourself, again, I wanted to be an attorney. You never know where life will take you, and so especially while you're young, make sure that you're flexible and that you're always looking for opportunities to learn from people. I'm only here because a lot of great people spent time with me when they didn't have to, and really spent the time to explain concepts in business and to give me the confidence to be able to move forward. And so I wish you the best of luck. Know again that you are the best possible person to pursue whatever it is that you want to pursue. And we here at the 100 Black Men will be rooting you on the entire way.